Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mark Mellow Show. I'm your host, Mark Mellow, and today we'll be speaking about some topics with a friend of mine who unfortunately is a bit late. Who might that be? Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I love how you're wearing a unicorn horn.
Yes.
It really matches your face.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
By the way, this podcast is sponsored by GO&Fun
And Serkin.
and Circuit.
Serkin.
We're joking. We haven't gotten paid by either company. It's just we both love those
Yes.
shits, especially Elenia.
Yes.
Every time I see Elenia, she has a GO&Fun can in her hand, which is so iconic.
That's my brand.
Okay, so to start off, I would like to shout out two people who reached out to me and said, "Hey, can you maybe showcase our art?" And I said, "Fucking well on, man! Keep doing what you're doing, you know." So the first one is my friend Chris Todesco. His Instagram is @_VSSHXLE.
I forgot the drum roll.
We were gonna drum roll, but we didn't drum roll. And the second one is @.meg, which is @uh.meg, and she has some really cool filters and some really cool art. Also, another thing about Chris's art is that he's gonna start printing it out on t-shirts and hoodies, so make sure you just fucking check them out. He has some amazing artwork. So, let's get right into it, shall we?
Yeah, Love. Yes,
Yeah,
Love.
yes, love.
Yes, Love.
Okay, so we decided
Oh, I can already
to...
tell the hearts are val.
Huh?
The hearts.
So we would like to start off this podcast by talking about something which has affected us as teenagers growing up and still affects us to this day, and that's basically drama and social media. What are your takes on social media? Do you use it a lot?
Yes, I use it too much. A lot of
I
people.
think a
use
lot
it
of
too
people
much.
can agree with that
Yeah.
statement.
Yeah. Social media, it has a lot of pros and cons, a lot of advantages and disadvantages. But social media is toxic. This is very toxic.
Yeah, we have got into a state in social media where it's a very toxic environment where everyone is out to get one another, and we don't really show appreciation towards each other on social media at all.
100%.
I think the biggest thing recently which has established this fact that social media can be toxic is the whole cancel culture, and how we don't really let go of things that happened in the past, and we don't realize that certain people mature and grow through the ages.
Yeah, which is why it's basically toxic as shit. It's
Yeah.
toxic as shit. To a certain extent though, because some people, for example, what's his name again? 69?
Yeah,
69, okay.
Takashi.
Yeah. In my opinion, he doesn't deserve the amount of money he's, getting.
Not at all.
And he doesn't deserve the hype
He is a convict.
either. Yeah.
He
100%.
was
He was in prison.
He was proved guilty in a
For a
court
lot
of
of
law.
things. For a lot of things.
Exactly.
And a lot of serious things.
And he's still popular, which is quite unfortunate.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he got out of jail early as well because he has a, big social media platform.
Apart from having the money to get really good lawyers.
100%. 100%.
On the other hand, you have Shane Dawson's case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where
Jeffree Star as well.
Jeffree Star also.
Together.
I'm not saying that I agree with what they've done at all.
No, not at all.
Especially Jeffree Star. I don't like the guy at all.
No.
At all. Wait, is he a guy?
Yes.
Okay. The thing is, with Shane Dawson's case, however, it's
A bit complicated.
It's a bit more complicated because the actions that he did were in the past, and when YouTubers there was a whole, it was different back then.
Yeah, it was a skit at the end of the day. You
Like-
know, like we weren't really educated that much on the whole. Like, I mean, racism is never okay. It's not okay now. It's not okay in the future. It was never okay in the past. You know, but like it was a skit. You know, like I'm not saying.
Apart from that, Shane Dawson at the time was younger,
Mhm.
and sometimes when you're young, you don't really realize the consequences of your
Yeah,
actions.
I agree with the not so positive. Shane
Uh,
has shown growth, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the whole thing, because as long as you know not to do it anymore,
as long as you recognize what you've done wrong,
Yeah.
and you decide that from that point onward, you are not going to do the same shit again because you realize the harm that you did.
exactly, towards other people.
Exactly. You shouldn't have your whole reputation tarnished.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. I mean, as long as you realize, as long as you're aware of what you did and how it affects people, you know, other people's feelings and whatever, as long as you know not to do it again, you know, their entire career shouldn't be, you know, they shouldn't be cancelled.
Also, according to what the person has done.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly.
If there was, let's take for example, Cardi B.
Okay,
You know,
yeah,
there were accusations of her drugging men
yeah,
and initiating sexual contact with those men.
yeah, stealing from men as well.
Exactly. I mean, I guess she deserves the hate that she got.
Yeah, 100%. But there is a big difference between acting out a skit and saying something racist of like 20 years ago, rather than literally drugging men, raping them, and then stealing from them. You know, there's a big difference. You
Yeah.
know. So like 69 and Cardi B, they don't deserve the money that they're getting, and they don't deserve the hype. They don't deserve their platform. You know, there are some people who really, you know, work hard to like achieve a good social media platform,
Mhm.
and there are, you know, like Cardi B and 69 who are literally committing several crimes and
Riding on their fame to get them out of
Basically.
this bad situation.
basically.
I want to speak about false accusations a bit regarding the whole cancel culture. What people don't realize is there's a way and a way to do things. When you are acting out on pure assumptions, I don't think that is right
No,
at all.
no, not at
You
all.
need solid, concrete evidence
As long
that this
as-
person did wrong to the other person.
Exactly. Unless you're speaking facts, then don't say anything at all.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, if your friend comes up to you and says, this guy did this, and that to me,
Mm-hmm.
you have every right to support that friend.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you don't know the other story.
Exato. You need to listen to both sides of the story, you know? Like, for example, I don't know. You need to listen to both sides of the story, basically. And then, obviously, it's their thing. You know, it's their problem. They need to act on it. However,
Don't get me wrong. If you know that a friend is in a very, very serious situation where it turns out to be so toxic that they can't even feel to speak out,
Exactly.
then yes, do something about
Yeah,
it.
I agree.
And you should do something about it.
100%.
But if you just hear a rumor, for example, don't just go out and assume that person actually did the thing.
Yeah, obviously.
You know?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, personally, I had an experience with that, and thank God that my friends and family supported me a lot because they knew that I was innocent and I hadn't done anything wrong. Apart from that, I had spoken to all of the people which I had either sexual relation in the past to make
set
sure that
things clear.
exactly that
To set
to make
things
sure
clear.
that I didn't hurt them,
Yeah.
because you know, your intention when you're going out with a girl isn't to hurt the person.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
it's to care for them, to show them love.
And that, unfortunately, that happens to a lot of guys as well. Like, a lot. I really don't get the whole, like, if a guy goes out with a girl and the girl starts to, like, tell her friends that he, like, did that forcefully to me, you know, like, with the intention of hurting her, and it's not actually true. Like you have no idea, like what you're saying. It's not even something to joke about. Like rape and doing something to a girl or a guy with the intention of hurting them is not okay.
It's not okay
at all. It doesn't matter if you're drunk. It doesn't matter if you're high as fuck. No, it's not okay. You know.
I believe that most of these situations happen. Mostly, it's because there is lack of communication from both parties, and a girl will feel uncomfortable in the situation.
But the girl would also speak up.
Exactly.
And even the guy, if the guy is feeling uncomfortable, for example, it could go both ways. They shouldn't be scared to speak up.
Exactly.
You know, and that's a problem because a lot of people are scared to speak up.
I think in this society we are so scared of what other people think, and we are so scared of our own opinions that we don't really show them to other people, because we might think, oh, my whole reputation is going to be tarnished just because of this simple thing that happened to me. But the thing is, we need communication in our lives. We need to reason things out and not just blatantly just try and push each other down. That is what's going wrong in this society currently. Apart from that, I mean, when you look at social media here in Malta, it has elevated to a level where even if there's a simple breakup, it gets blown out of proportion
100%.
to 100 million fucking particles.
100%.
I'm not even joking.
Lack
It's
of privacy, you know.
yeah, it's lack of privacy.
Lack of privacy. To be honest, if a specific person with a large social media platform, you know, like some people who have a large social media platform feel like they can't have a fan base and a relationship because, you know, a lot of people don't understand that a lot of people need their privacy, you know, and even for yourself, it's nice to do things without having everyone know what you're doing, you know, like if you're going through a breakup and you want to go through it on your own, you have every right to.
I mean, I'm guilty of this in the past, definitely. I used to post a lot about like how sad I was feeling about the breakup, but to be honest, I was quite young, and you know, you feel a lot of emotions, and you say, okay, I'm gonna see what happens in social media, like what do people think, will people give me some advice,
you know, it's a lesson,
which is not bad. Like the whole concept of you trying to get advice and help, it isn't bad, but from my experience, you shouldn't post it on your public story. And I'm saying this from my personal experience.
It's nice to keep things
private. And keep your personal life private.
It's nice to keep things private. Okay, like trust me, like even like simplest thing like going abroad, for example, you don't have to feel the need to post, you know, to tell other people, you know, what you're doing, literally anything. I mean, if you want to, like, go ahead, but like there are some things it's nice to keep private, you know, like relationships, you know, family, whatever.
Exactly.
It's nice to keep things private.
Also, like, maybe we can talk about the whole COVID situation and how it affected social media. Like, we can see artists who are really, really, really struggling because they aren't getting
enough recognition.
And money also.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Money also. The fact that artists can't support themselves. And it's really sad because artists are very, very, very important in life. Not just because they show their hearts on the fucking, you know, on their art. But it's also because they help us to design things which we use like, from day to day.
Literally, quite literally, like everything on this table.
I mean, for example, look at this GO&Fun.
You see? Look at my band.
Exactly.
An artist made this.
An artist made it.
Yeah.
You know?
Even furniture. What do they call the people who make furniture?
Woodworker. Carpenter.
Yeah, something like that. But they're the artists at the end of the day, you know? They make stuff.
Yeah. Also, there's this whole idea of constant competition on social media, and it's gotten to a point where people care more about how many clicks they get rather than the content they put out on the platform. I want to take, for example, TikTok. There are loads and loads and loads of very shit TikToks, and it's not because they are just bad because they're made by people who are just having fun. Because if you're having fun on social media, that's the whole point of it. But when you put out something on social media and it puts people down, it's unhealthy.
Yeah, very.
So just whenever you're posting on social media, make sure that your content lifts up people and doesn't bring them down.
Make sure it's always positive. There's no need to be negative on social media. You know, like if you don't agree with something, just there's no reason to like literally just talk shit. Just keep it to yourself. If you don't agree with it, that's literally
it's fine to voice your opinion. But there's a difference between voicing your opinion and bringing the other person down.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you have any other thoughts that you want to put on the social media?
Yeah. Like even for example, posting like a specific something. Like for example, once I had posted this thing on my story and it was like, no cops, no racism, you know, no fascism. Yeah, and no meat, right? And someone replied to my story, and basically they started calling me a fascist because I said no meat, right? I'm a vegetarian. I'm trying to be. So, you know, I have a lot of vegan friends as well. I just, you know, like, it's, like, alright, I can see, like, if it was really bad, like, if you want to educate me on it, and I'm clearly not very educated on it, go ahead, like, reply to my story, be like, Isma, this isn't how you, like, deal, like, you know, like, don't, just, like, be nice. Don't, like, yell, or don't be mean, basically. That's all I'm trying to say.
Or don't try and diminish a person's opinion.
Exactly.
Every opinion is valid.
You're entitled to your own opinion.
Exactly.
You're entitled to your own opinion.
As long as it doesn't hurt it.
Exactly, but there's no reason to be negative because someone's uneducated about a specific topic, you know? There's no reason to be negative. Just, if you want to tell me, like, if you want to educate me on it, like, go ahead, you know? But there's no reason to be negative. You know, like, voicing your opinion and telling me is one thing, but being negative and being mean in general is, you know,
unnecessary. It's unnecessary because you're not helping to put out your point.
Exactly, you're just being mean.
You're just being mean. And if you're talking to someone with mean intention, you know, they're not gonna listen.
So
you need to talk with politeness and a bit of dignity, you know.
Exactly.
And be nice. Just be nice, guys. Just be nice. Okay. On another note, speaking about positive, I've been reading about something recently called toxic positivity. And it's basically, recently, especially due to the COVID situation, we've become overly positive because we're just trying to not be so negative,
especially now,
which is a good thing, but we are ignoring the new emotions that we're feeling at the same time. You know, we're not really expressing sadness because we just want to be constantly hopeful, which is good thing,
but it can also be bad.
It can be also be a bad.
And I feel
so
like,
to you guys, I just want to tell you, if you're feeling sad, it's fine. If you're feeling angry, it's fine. You don't have to be guilty because you're feeling sad.
Exactly. I feel like a lot of people tend to like seeing a specific Instagram post, for example, or something from Twitter or Facebook, like that tells people, you know, like to do this and that. I feel like people would feel pressured, and you know, they would be scared.
That's another point on social media, is that social media has put so much pressure on our lives, and our idea of living a good life has been tainted by a lot and a lot of restrictions.
Because people want to be liked by other people, you know. That's a major thing. A lot of people feel pressured by what they see on Instagram or any social media platform, you know. I feel like that should, you know.
Definitely. Move on to the next topic. Actually,
Yes.
wait. Do you have any questions, guys? Any
Yes,
things that you want to tell us? Okay, so let's start from the beginning. At Valvella said, "That's my daughter." Are you her daughter?
Yes.
Good.
Chicken
Chicken
pastizzi.
pastizzi.
Yes, we had one.
Yes,
I didn't though.
I had one.
I didn't.
I had one. And you took a ricotta one, right?
Yes.
Guys, if you're ever feeling hungry and you're hanging out in Rabat, go check out Sirkin.
Not
Fucking
sponsored.
amazing pastizzi.
Not
Not
sponsored,
sponsored. Not
unfortunately.
sponsors. Sponsor us. Jeffrey at the Not So Gossitin. Jeffrey is not cancelled, and I am not happy about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I read about that. I feel like it's mostly just Shane.
Yeah,
Who's getting
there's a lot of hate
the
on Shane,
negativity on.
and it's unfortunate because Shane is showing that he's growing.
And it really makes me sad because I used to love watching his videos when I was a kid, and even now.
Because
they're really
back in
entertaining,
the day when he used to make these videos, most of them were actually kind of inspiring, and they showed
100%.
creativity.
And he helped people. He genuinely helped
And
people.
he genuinely helped
you know, like
people.
Eugenia Cooney. Have you watched the video about Eugenia
Yes.
Cooney? Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I definitely agree with you guys when it comes to that. That Not So Guzden said, I feel like the whole Tati situation is the only thing tainting his career, except for the racist pedo and the sensitive comments of the past.
100%. You know who Tati is?
No.
Tati is, do you remember when James Charles got cancelled and he was...
Oh wait, Tati is like the person who... Yeah. I saw her video. I saw her video about Jeffree Star.
She made two, basically. One of them was a while ago when she cancelled James Charles and then he got back onto his feet, you know. And there's another one now, and a lot of people are basically putting two and two together and figured out that she's lying.
Speaking of James Charles, like
that was
I used to
really
enjoy watching his videos.
Same.
I used to like.
He has really
genuinely. I loved his makeup tutorials.
He has a really nice talent, you know. He really genuinely knows how to put fucking makeup on.
And that's why I found it a bit strange when all the accusations were circling around him.
Yeah. But then again, you don't know what goes on in a person's life, and you don't know how their personality
and
actually is.
And this is why social media is so problematic, but at the same time, it helps.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
like, a lot of people are...
Us as a society, we just have to be a bit more understanding of people and don't jump to conclusions so quickly.
Unless you're speaking facts, then don't say anything. That's the point.
At the Not So Gossitin, honestly, I prefer having a close friend story on Insta when it comes to rants and feelings.
Yeah.
That proset. Keep on doing what you're doing.
Yes.
That is perfect, because close friends are the people in your life which help you and support you.
Exactly.
And you have every right to post there.
Exactly.
Quality over quantity at Alison Fressler. Yes.
Fressel.
That's how you say it.
Fressel. Freezer.
Yes, I definitely agree with that, especially being an artist myself. It's not the how much you make, but the quality of what you're doing. I keep losing. I can't stand certain fake accounts on TikTok. We were actually speaking about that with the whole manifestation thing.
Yeah, because a lot of people, if you use TikTok, you know, you have at least stumbled upon one manifestation video. And basically what it is to manifest how do you
It's
explain
basically you imagine a situation in your life and you constantly think about it, and you do your best to actually for it to actually happen, and it actually happens. That's the whole.
But you need a
basic
lot of
premise of
you need a lot
manifestation.
of mental strength
Yes.
for that. I feel like you need a fuckload of mental strength for that, you know. And a lot of people tend to, like, for example, do it for clout, do it for the likes and the comments and the shares and the
A lot of
follows.
clickbaiting.
A lot of clickbaiting. You know, it gives people false hope. When you go on TikTok and I see like 4 manifestation videos in a row about like the randomest fucking shit, you know, like money, relationships, you know, love, friendships, family, whatever it is. If you're just doing it for, you know, like the followers and the, you know, the clout and the spotlight, if you will, it gives people false hope, and that's not fair, you know.
Yeah.
That's not fair. It's a waste of time.
It also invalidates spirituality and manifestation. It makes it such a simple thing when it isn't.
It's not.
It's much more complicated than you think. And if you actually read into the research and the whole premise of it, it's not as simple. There are a lot of details which go into it.
Exactly.
And you can't just replicate it
it's
over
very
TikTok.
Advanced, I feel like. Exactly. TikTok made it like a trend, basically. It's not really a trend.
At Alasai Moon said at someone said manifestation. Yes. We later on in the future I'll do a whole podcast on spirituality and anything that has to do with that whole thing.
Yes, TikTok is very dumb.
TikTok is very dumb.
It's entertaining, but it's stupid.
I love the TikToks. I love the TikToks
stupid.
which radiate fine energy.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
The ones that are very random and you laugh your ass off.
Yes.
You know?
But it's there are certain videos, man, which
are really real trash.
Yeah.
Real trash.
Yeah. Dustbin material.
Dustbin material. So now we're gonna move on to the next topic, and that is the Maltese mentality. We're gonna talk a bit about our home country and how lovely it is.
Tiny bit of sarcasm, but you know, tiny bit of sarcasm.
Just a tiny bit. I mean, okay, let's start with some great pointers.
Okay.
The Maltese culture, history, and even our architecture and our art.
That's the history in general.
It's very unique and beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Like 100%, I can't say any negatives about it.
I really enjoy that fucking pastizzi, man.
That pastizzi was amazing.
That
pastizzi was amazing. Should we title the episode Pastizzi?
Yes.
Yes.
I think even GO&Fun is Maltese.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
GO&Fun. Pastizzi and GO&Fun.
Yes.
That's the title of the episode. I think the major problem with the Maltese and Malta is that we have a very, very, very big fear of change. And we aren't willing to change, we aren't willing to grow, we aren't willing to mature. It's also, I think this is the main cause of this is because our population is mostly an aging population. That means that we have more older people. I don't want to call anyone old, you know. When I say old, this means like 40 and above. Then we have young adults and teens. And the older generation has an older mentality, which is a bit more traditional and a bit more conservative.
Yeah. And a bit very complex and unnecessary.
Yes.
Unnecessarily.
Very, very, very.
Yes.
But I love seeing the change in our generation, especially like I'm talking 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds who are actively active in the community of to make change, to
good change
for
the better,
to make Malta a much more accepting country. For example, quick shout out to a friend of mine at Eve Borg Ponello. She is she has a wonderful mind and she is a wonderful person.
Yes.
Go follow her. She makes amazing speeches and she supports a lot of groups like Black Lives Matter.
And she's actually smart.
The LGBTIQ plus community, which is always great seeing like someone our age showing their opinions and their thoughts on social media and even television.
It's good to share your opinions about these things.
And it gives me hope for a better
exactly.
for a better government and a better future in general.
If only.
If only. I would like to talk a bit also about health workers and first responders and firefighters.
Necessary workers.
The necessary workers. Population as a whole, I don't see that we really respect them.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, they definitely deserve, like the hype. They deserve to earn a lot more money than they should be earning now. Like...
Especially, for example, nurses. Nurses do a lot of work here.
They're very
Malta,
underpaid.
and they are very underpaid.
They're very underpaid.
Very underpaid. And that's a shame. It's a shame because these people are the people who are saving our lives. They are the people who are there when you are injured, who are there when your father or mother is injured.
When you're feeling sick.
When you're feeling sick. And their job has a lot of pressure on them.
Their job is basically to risk their lives 24/7, especially now. I mean, we're in a fucking pandemic, like...
So just respect your health workers and all of the necessary workers.
Yeah. There should be a petition.
Yes. I think there are.
For nurses
there are
and
definitely
first liners, really. There should be. Like
I think another problem we have as Maltese is that we're very, very self-absorbed. What I mean by that is that if the problem isn't concerning us,
then
we
it's
don't
not our
care.
problem. Yeah.
And I really saw this when it came to the whole Black Lives Matter protest which happened recently.
Yeah, the protest, I liked the protest, like it was really like moving, very inspirational.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a very good thing that they protested and like we need more things, but why now? Why now did it happen?
I feel like BLM was treated as a trend
here in Malta,
even in America,
even in
other places,
even in America.
Like I see a lot of my friends still like reposting certain things, like Breonna Taylor, for example. She hasn't gotten the justice that she deserves. I mean, I think she was literally shot while she was asleep at her home. Like, the police literally just barged into her house without any sort of permit whatsoever. They didn't even knock. They just barged in. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. It's not fair, man.
It's not fair.
It's really fucking stupid that they're treating it as a trend. It's not a trend. Racism has always been a problem, and it always will be a problem, unfortunately. Unless we genuinely do something about it. The government needs to act up. Because they're the only people who can actually,
I mean, speaking of
change.
Our government, it has been notorious for the recent past for being corrupt.
#corruption.
But I do believe that this doesn't come just from the government itself, but it's inbred in the Maltese mentality. Is that like we have normalized corruption almost to an extent.
Literally. It happens literally every fucking day.
Exactly. Like let's take for example, let's say a man had a physical what's it called? Fight.
Okay.
Had a fight,
an argument,
a physical argument with another person, and he calls his uncle, who's a lawyer, or someone who's high ranking, and he's like, "Can you get me off the hook?" I feel like this is a huge problem in Malta that we don't really address. We don't really address at all.
Yeah, no,
like,
not really.
If you know the right people here in Malta, you can get out of
literally
any trouble. Any trouble.
If you have money and you know people, especially like close, you're off the hook 100%.
And that is why the people, for example, of domestic violence are scared to speak up, because they feel that they are so entrapped in this circle of corruption where they have no way of getting out of their own fucking cage of which has developed into their life, you know?
But at the same time, they shouldn't be afraid to speak up.
Yeah.
Like, I get that some people get scared of, like, you know, the consequences of what happens after, like, stuff with foster care, you know, court cases and...
Especially considering that the foster care system here in Malta is horrendous.
The justice system is also horrendous.
Also.
The justice system, you know?
They are notorious for not helping people.
The court just will only listen to the fucking adults, you know? But, like, they shouldn't be, you know? Because, like, some people, like, you know, people who have been through, you know, domestic violence with their parents or whatever, some people don't afford to move out at 18, and I think with foster care here you have to like leave.
You have to wait until you're 18 because the foster care system here in Malta doesn't help you.
Exactly.
And it's such an entrapping feeling
that you need to know what you have to do when you're 18, which is why a lot of people are homeless.
Yep.
You know, so I get how difficult it can be, but if you're going through it, just speak up. You will find someone who can take care of you. You know, it's not impossible.
Friends help a lot. So if you're suffering from any problems, make sure to speak up to somebody, preferably an adult, preferably because an adult always helps. He can guide you. They can guide you into finding a safe haven where you can feel safe.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be foster care. It doesn't have to be foster care. They can legally adopt you as well. You can get one of your, you know, friends who are over 18 plus. They can adopt you. There's temporary adoption,
exactly,
well, which could help a lot.
Even if you don't have enough money for rent, maybe you can split the rent with somebody else who's over 18 who will take the temporary adoption, and until you're 18 they will care for you.
Exactly, that's what temporary adoption is, I think, right? Yeah, okay.
I'm pretty sure. I think we should speak about racism here in Malta.
Yeah, which is quite a serious problem here, yeah.
Especially when it comes to the whole migrant situation.
Yeah.
Considering recently there was a boat full of
migrants, which is basically what spiked the second wave. This is the second wave.
I think the problem is that the government saw that there were only two options: either send them away
or bring them in.
We are living in the 21st century. There must have been another way on how we can help these people without bringing them in to the country. But at the same time, keeping them in our vicinity so they are safe.
Exactly.
That's how I see it.
Exactly. They could have... It's 2020. They have the technology for it. You know, they could have, like, for example... We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah, for example, the Gozo ferries. They could have maybe given them two of the Gozo ferries. Or the Virtu ferries, exactly. Anything to help them out. So they aren't just crowded in this small boat.
Exactly.
You know, you don't have to bring in people to the country to help them out.
You don't have to send them back out either. You can help them, you know, 14-day quarantine until they're okay and they test negative, and then you can either bring them in or send them back, wherever, whatever.
We have completely desensitized the fact that migrants are people. They are just like you.
Just human beings, literally.
They need help as much as we need.
They're just not from here. That's literally it. They're just not Maltese. And it really sucks. Because if I were in, you know, if I was one of the people from the boats, you know, like I would want, like, it's not really nice to see all the people making protests and, you know, like writing on Facebook to send them back out. Like, it's not nice, you know, like even before the virus, like this was always a problem with the migrants. And I do agree, we are very overpopulated here. But the thing is, if you send them in, it's not like people leave the country for a fucking reason, you know, like war, whatever it is. People leave for a reason, and if you want to leave the negativity and the whatever shit that's going on in your country, people really don't, you know, I wouldn't want to see the people, you know, being so negative and mean, you know?
Exactly. Apart from that, like, let's talk about a bit about segregation. Segregation by law has been banned, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But we, the Maltese, we still keep segregation in mind. For example, let's say you're on the bus and you see someone walk in,
Mm-hmm.
and they're looking for a seat, and it's all full except for one seat, and there's a black person sitting on the other seat next to it. That person, the one who walked in, has a possibility of choosing not to sit next to the other person just because they are black.
Yeah.
It happens a lot here in Malta.
100%. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Same. I've
I've
seen
seen it with my own eyes. It's a thing.
Even just a face of disgust when they just sit next to the person.
Yeah, or you know, they might like scooch a bit or like hold their back tighter or whatever, as if, or get up. You know, like it's fucking stupid.
It is stupid.
That's not like, what's your point? You know, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, treat people how you want to be treated.
Exactly. What goes around comes around. I strongly believe in that.
You check the questions and the comments,
Maybe.
because this was quite controversial.
Yes.
Oh Lord, this is at blaflus.mp3. Oh Lord, this is an immigration talk. The Blaflus. Let's go debate club. Mark knows I'm holding back a barrage of straight facts right now. Yes. My friend Emanuele, he is a very intelligent person, and he bases all of his opinions on facts, which
Good.
I love.
Good.
Maybe I don't agree with every opinion he has. We have
just fine. You're entitled to your own
we have
opinion.
debated in the past, but yeah, definitely. If you ever want to come on the podcast, Emanuele, and we can talk about something interesting, just feel free to hit me up. We move on to the last section. So the last segment is about something that both me and Elenia practice, only Elenia practices something else also, and that is meditation and yoga. How long have you been meditating and doing yoga for?
To be honest, I've only done it 3 times in my life.
Okay.
Now, 2 hours ago, and like maybe twice in July, like beginning of July.
How does meditation make you feel?
Very relaxed. It's like a safe haven to me. Like, you know how some people have their own like safe space, you know, like when they're feeling a bit sad, they go like to a specific, you know, like literally anywhere, or they like ride their bike or whatever. You know, like I meditate. I go on my roof with my dog and I meditate. And
I mean, there are proven studies that meditation actually helps to reduce anxiety, and even schools use meditation as a substitute for detention, which is very interesting. Schools in Finland, I think, or one of the Norwegian countries, I mean, they all have amazing school systems. They choose to, students who are in trouble aren't punished, but instead they are given an opportunity to reflect on what they have done wrong.
Exactly.
So
that's kind of what meditation is. You have like your own like.
It's a moment in time in your day, in your life, in the month and the year, where you just stop, clear your head, and try to reason things out.
Like meditation is basically literally just sitting down, closing your eyes, breathing in and out, and like I like kind of cover what I did on that day and how I can like improve, you know, on like myself. You know, that's basically it. It's really fun. It's mentally and physically good for you.
It is definitely. Apart from that, meditation is used as a tool in certain spiritual beliefs. For example, you have Christianity, where they pray instead of meditate. It is still a form of meditation. It still helps the person to reflect on what they have done in their life, which is very beautiful. I believe that every religion has its strong suits and its weaknesses, and we should learn from every religion. That's how I see it. For example, the Buddhists, they meditate.
Uh-huh.
You know, the Muslims, they have the, like, when they go on the ground.
On their knees.
Exactly.
Okay,
And
okay.
they worship their God,
Yeah.
Allah. You know?
Exactly.
Every religion has its beauty, and it's important to learn from every religion.
It's important also to keep in mind that if it's not what you believe in, then there's no reason to be mean about it as well. Because a lot of people start to like, oh, why do you pray? You know, like it's their own like belief. Let them be.
Let people believe what they want to believe, as long as they are not harming others.
Exactly.
And after all, they are doing good in the world. They are reflecting on what they are doing bad in their own life.
If it doesn't affect you or other people, literally, then it shouldn't. You know, just let them be.
Yeah. Comments? At bluffloose.mp3 said, meditation by definition is attempting to assume a third person position on your own personal thoughts, thus giving you a different perspective on your own thoughts. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Helping you to disconnect yourself from yourself from your thoughts, be it positive or negative. Yeah, that's the whole premise of meditation. And it's really beautiful because you get to see yourself from a different perspective.
Exactly. And
a more maybe critical one, or maybe a more praising one.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. It's still, you're getting there.
Yeah. I think this was a good podcast.
Yeah.
We really got our points across.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed watching it, and if you ever want to join me, just send me a text or a message or a DM or a picture, anything, and yeah, we'll talk. Definitely. You say goodbye. Bye-bye.
Bye.